Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome to Walking with J.Beau, an almost daily walking vlog. Is that something to be excited about? I don't know. But I do love walking. Walking is a solo sport. It's also free. If you got legs, you can do it. If you don't have legs, you can still do it. So anyway, I'm going to do about 5 miles today, maybe 6. I'm going to walk up a stretch. I don't walk very often, just to change things up a little bit. And again, because this is a daily vlog, I'm not really interested in walking new places all the time. It's more about exercise and fitness. So but it's nice to change things up. We are in Lewiston, Maine. Sometimes I forget to add that on my videos and I get asked, where is this? Where are you? So my apologies. I will be doing a little bit of selfie stuff today, depending on whether or not I feel like it. I know I will at least a little bit. Sometimes I feel like I have the camera on me too long. I don't think I'm that entertaining. But today is a beautiful day today. And I say that because the high temperature today is going to be 82. That's the first 82-degree day we've had since last summer. And then tomorrow it's going to be in the 70s. And then the 60s, because we're going to get some rain. Looks like a rainy weekend too. So I'm going to enjoy the nice days when they show up. It's early in the morning. Sun came up not long ago. So it's about 65 degrees instead of 82. It'll be warmer later today, obviously. I am wearing just a t-shirt. Wow. It always sounds funny when I say that. Yes, I'm wearing something underneath my waistline. I'm only wearing a t-shirt. Oh geez, you know, how long till the police show up, right? So anyway, I'm gonna enjoy our walk as people enjoy their morning commutes, their commute. Got a slight breeze. Feels nice. The air is definitely warmer feeling. The sun is nice and warm. So I'm feeling very thankful for my vote today. President Trump. I hope you are as well. The media right now is in kind of a lull. They're trying to critique President Trump like he's a failure, and they're starting to give up on that because new polling has just come out, and Trump is the most popular he has ever been. He's around that 50%. And also, for the first time ever, presidential approval with regard to country moving in the right direction just cracked 52% for the first time. That is not an approval, but it is the country headed in the right direction? And the reason why he's getting those high numbers for that is because he's ending DEI. We've seen a surge of people joining the military again. The American public did not go along with that leftist crap, that neo-Marxist garbage, and the American people have spoken up and voted for Trump, and they're still approving of what he's doing. Now, the tariff stuff made people nervous. People are still a little nervous, but a little more settled now. And that's because President Trump just does what he does. There's no easing into anything. So whenever he does anything brash, the media sets everybody in panic mode, and it affects the numbers. And they do that on purpose. But it doesn't last, because a lot of the stuff they've been spewing is false, for one thing. I'll switch the camera around here. Hi, everybody. How are you today? Hope you're doing okay. And so the media always does all this fear and panic porn, and so a lot of people are realizing that that's not true. It's false. And the reason why I'm enjoying my vote today is because things are going the way they should be. Some of this is going to be a little rough, but I think we understand that. So much damage has been done to this country that there's really no way to fix it unless you go through a little bit of, you know, like I've explained this before, and everybody knows this. If your household has been cruising along for a long time, and then all of a sudden you make sudden changes because you have to save money, maybe a job was changed, maybe the economy downturns. I mean, we went through that quite a few years ago with the housing crisis in the early 2000s. That was a real struggle, big time. So you do what people do. You make adjustments financially so you can make it, you know. So, and it's never fun. It's always painful, but you know in the long run it's what you have to do. And that's kind of where a lot of people are right now with Trump and keeping his campaign promises. He's doing everything he said he was going to do. And people should not be shocked by that, and it's looking like they're not. So, still a little bit of nervousness, but that's normal. So anyway, pretty interesting stuff, I think, anyways. And RFK yesterday with the CDC and FDA announced that they were going to be halting childhood vaccinations for COVID, forced vaccinations, I should say. They're not going to be mandated. There's no reason young people should be getting the flibbity-gibbet. If you don't know what the flibbity-gibbet is by now, watching my vlog, well, it's the aforementioned subject I just discussed. So, it's no longer mandated for school children. I'm firmly convinced that the Democrats mandated that just to make Big Pharma money, because Big Pharma has invested a lot in politicians. So I think a lot of that had to do with greed rather than some kind of conspiracy. It's always the money, isn't it? It's always the money. Big Pharma is so big you would not believe it, even if you started researching it. So we got some camera bugs. You see me walking with the camera. They always think I'm live streaming, which is really funny. So anyway, that is kind of funny. The guy ended up making a lot of noise. So sometimes I get that on my walks. Most of the time people really don't care. It's usually just horns beeping. Now usually when we do this walk, we go up this way. That's a nice walk, but this time we're going to go up straight ahead. There'll be a lot more traffic, but it's a route I like to walk sometimes. So anyway, it is pretty funny when we get people hollering at the camera. Everybody wants to be an internet sensation, right? So, President Trump's doing a good job. I'm happy with my vote. I like a lot of the policies. I'm at Oz, just announced that Doge has found $14 billion in Medicare fraud so far. And that's pretty amazing. We have the big beautiful bill that passed in the Congress. But the Senate's going to have some issues with a lot of things. Senate Republicans rightfully have based themselves around being fiscally responsible because of all the spending that Biden did. So now we just can't go do a whole lot of new spending. Now the thing is, a lot of them are not understanding what the waste and fraud cuts are going to save, what tariffs are paying into the country, because they're not used to seeing that stuff. Their entire career in the Senate, nobody has done anything that's going on now, so this is kind of like new to them too. So they'll work with Congress, the House. They'll get a better understanding because the House has been working on this since before Trump was elected. Because they figured he was going to win. And they were right. I think most people knew that Trump was going to win. And I'm happy to say, when I told you the same thing on these walks, that Trump was going to win. So, anyways, I'm going to turn the camera around here. And I sincerely hope you are having a beautiful day today. Really do. So we're going to go walking up this way. Remember 3 years ago, walking up this way was a chore. And now I am so in shape for walking. I've lost so much weight since then, 3 years ago, that this is nothing now. I'm very happy to say that. And I didn't get much sleep last night. So I've walked this route at night before. Which is not the best route to walk at night. Unless it's really late at night and there's not much traffic. So, anyway, 82 degrees later today. I'll be busy, so it's like if I'm gonna walk, I gotta do it now because I don't want to do a night walk late tonight without much sleep. So I'm gonna get it out of the way early and then go do what I gotta do for the day. Which is always okay too. And to be honest with you, I used to love walking early in the mornings. Hasn't been like that for over a year. And it's probably about 7:30 right now in the morning. And crickets are still cricketing. Apparently they don't know it's morning. So I definitely got to keep my eye on this breakdown lane here in case somebody's drifting like that. So I'll go up here, try to walk off the road whenever I can. It's a smart way to do it. Something rattling in my pocket. I don't want to hear that the entire walk. So all in all, things are going pretty well right now with President Trump. His patience is getting pretty thin with Putin. And it's very reminiscent of when Ronald Reagan was very patient with Gorbachev. Got to be persistent. Basically, if Putin's not careful, what's going to happen is the United States is going to bow out of this entirely. Zelensky is going to get everything he wants. It's going to prolong the war. And Europe is going to invest a lot more money in fighting Russia. And the war is going to get a lot worse for Russia. Oh, look at the geese. See them? Oh, look, they got baby ones. Here they go, being nice little geese. Well, that was a nice surprise, wasn't it? We do have a couple of lakes around here. One of them's about a 4-mile walk. Probably about 2.5 miles from where we are. And you might say, well, geez, why don't we go to the lake? That would be nice. Well, I didn't get any sleep last night for the most part, and I'm gonna get my 5 miles plus today. And I don't have an 8-miler in me today, I don't think. But it is a walk we are going to make at some point. That I can promise you. It's gonna have to be on a day I'm well rested. And that's the thing I was trying to explain to you guys. You know, walking's one thing. If you don't walk very often and you want to do an 8-mile walk, you know, you can do that. Because the next day, if you're sore, who cares, right? But when you're walking every day, you know, you're going to wear yourself out doing stuff like that. I checked through my miles for the year. I had an 11-mile walk, a 9-mile walk, another 9-mile walk, and an 8-mile, and also had a 7. So I didn't record all of those and I didn't upload them because who the hell is going to watch a 3-hour video? And quite honestly, I run out of a lot of material to talk about after the first hour and 15 minutes usually. So oh, it smells like summer right now. I really like this. So you guys have had summer started about a month ago down south or more. It's just getting here now, which is on par for what's normal. Now across the street here, where that trailer park is, that used to be a drive-in when I was a kid. I saw a movie called Battle from what's the hell's the name of the movie? Battle Beyond the Stars, that's what it was called. And I had that guy that played John Boy in the Waltons. So starred in it. Sci-fi movie. One of my uncles brought me to see it here. He's gone now. Uncle Dave. So there's a lot of times he brought me to a lot of places, and I really appreciated that. Fishing, boat races. And when you're a kid, things like that are important. And I was always grateful for that. And he cared about me a lot, actually, because I had made him some model kits when I was a kid, and he kept those for years and years and years. Even this ridiculous soap carving I made. Soap carving that looked like it was, well, it looked pretty terrible, but it was supposed to be a fish because he liked fishing, but it looked like a mutated whale, if I'm honest about it. It wasn't very good, but he kept it. So you know, here we're just leaving Lewiston, and now I'm standing in Sabattis, and it says established 1795. That is when it officially became a city, but this township was officially started unofficially in 1776, the year the Declaration of Independence was declared. And we belonged to Massachusetts at the time. And I am very thankful we no longer belong to Massachusetts, because that is a damn communist state, if you ever wanted to hear about one. Democrats in Maine are really trying to make this a communist state. They're trying very hard. They're not succeeding, but they're not going to quit either. They will not quit. So we'll deal with that when the time comes. I'm not going to live in a communist state, and I'm too old to stay and fight for it. So it's up to these young people, these whippersnappers. Now over here, we got a business here that does construction and drywall. And look at this, they got this big, huge ass Trump flag outside. It's basically saying, if you don't want our business, because we support Trump and America and freedom and liberty, and go somewhere else. How cool is that? So we're going to be passing a gun shop up ahead that is actually an FFL, federally firearms licensed business that sells used and new firearms. But sometimes you can find good stuff at a pawn shop. They're not very affordable. That's the other thing I've noticed. A lot of these pawn shops locally try to get all the money in the world for everything. Cost of living in Maine is pretty expensive. I think we're in the top 5 cost of living per capita. And from what I've been researching in Maine, I think the average income per week is approximately $900 average. That's a new normal. 10 years ago, it was probably lower than that. But as with all things, inflation and whatever, the $900 a week probably feels like 6 or 5. But anyway, nice day for a walk. I got a nice sweat going right now. And 82 degrees later today. I have to acclimate to get used to that. You guys down south probably find that hilarious. But I remember a couple years ago we went to the range. It was 71 degrees and we were overheating at the range because we weren't used to it. That was one of the first days it warmed up. So once you get used to it, it's fine. We do see 85 to 90 here in the summertime, 95. I think the record temperature in Maine's 101, set in the 70s, I believe. So, and when you're walking, a lot of your walking is mental, as evidenced by what we're looking at is a lot of road ahead. So you got to stay focused on what you're doing, and that's why I love talking with you guys while I walk. Unless it's like yesterday's walk where I didn't feel like talking. Actually, the day before yesterday. Didn't walk yesterday. Which is okay too. Don't need to walk every day. To maintain your sanity. That field does look nice. That looks like early summer. That looks very nice. I get sweat on my eyebrows. There's a cigarette lighter. I told you guys I find so many cigarette lighters. This one's empty. Empty. I got about 24 cigarette lighters at home that are not empty and they work just fine. Why do I have 24 cigarette lighters? Well, the apocalypse could be tomorrow, couldn't it? Got to be able to make fire. I also have a couple J.Beau lighters. Those would be good for an apocalypse. When I used to smoke, that was my cigarette lighter, J.Beau's. A J.Beau cigarette lighter. I used to have a J.Beau Desert Storm one from when I used to smoke. Quit smoking in 2001. It was February, I used to remember the date, now I don't. It was right around Valentine's Day, a little before. But I do remember at the time, it was about 7:30 at night. And I remember during that week we had a snowstorm. And when you're trying to quit smoking and you're stuck in the house, oh my God, I had all this nervous energy, couldn't get rid of it. I was craving cigarettes. So what did I do? I went out to a football field in a big snowstorm. And I just ran around the football field in the snow until I was exhausted. So I just did what I had to do. And now, is that the coolest mailbox you will ever see? Certified mechanics. That is an actual friggin' engine mailbox that I want. Look at that. That is pretty awesome. Got a Edelbrock air filter on there. Carburetor. They got a Mustang they're working on in there. They sell cars. Next door is certified mechanics. 786-3541. Their phone number. Prefix 207. Well, that was not there the last time I walked by here. At least I didn't see it. It looks like it's been there for a while. It's got some rust on it. But that's the first time I ever see an automotive engine block mailbox. Is that the coolest thing? It's made from a real engine. Small block, maybe a 302. Maybe. Well, damn. It's worth the trip just to see that, to be honest with you. So we'll walk up ahead here. Want to make sure I get my 5 miles, so I'm going to do a little more than 5. But right now, we are about 2.5 miles from a lake. Like I said, we're not going to be walking that far. We used to play ice hockey on that lake. Pond hockey. No. Some people call it Sabattis Pond. Some people call it Sabattis Lake. I call it a lake because it's bigger than a pond. We have the Fraternal Order of Eagles. Register my car next month. That's where you pay the government whatever miles you drove for the year determines what your registration is. I don't drive many miles, so thankfully that's always pretty low. So the worst is registering a new vehicle. Brand new vehicle, they charge a lot of money in tax to drive it. And it's really criminal. It's not fair. Because you have a lot more in insurance to pay for a new vehicle as well. So, hey, look at this, free sticks. Anybody need a long stick? They're free. Save you the trouble of going out in the woods and cutting your own sticks off a tree. Yes, I'm being facetious. I'm trying to be funny because that is really strange. So basically, if I walk on this road, we'll walk forever. It goes everywhere in the state at some point. We're not going to do that. We are, however, walk up a certain distance. I'm going to turn around and come back the same way, but I'm going to do it across the street just for a different view. And again, I'm more interested in getting my exercise miles, at least 5 miles every walk. So I'll turn us around again. Selfie stick. So we're just enjoying our day today. Hope you are as well. $210 for a picnic table you can make yourself for a lot less money than that. Couple hours work if you have plans, but they're selling theirs that they made, so that might be a good side hustle. A lot of people don't own power tools anymore. They don't have anything. I'm not even that big of a power tool person, and I get some stuff. I got a table saw and jigsaw and all kinds of stuff. Skill saw. Those are always good for a lot of things. So there's a self-storage place up ahead. That's approximately where I'm gonna turn around and head back. Nice to be wearing a t-shirt today. Really nice, actually. Feel good, feel in shape. I like the fact that I don't have to starve myself. That's the benefits of walking every day. You can eat what you want at my age, you don't have to worry about it. A lot of the stuff I've chosen not to eat has to do more with my celiac disease than it does with weight gain. A lot of gluten stuff and processed foods is horrible. Processed foods will make you fat even if you exercise. Convinced of it. Absolutely convinced of it. Because I still eat. And I lost 40 pounds. And I think that was just because of that. Processed foods. Fake food. It's not real. It's garbage. And there's a lot of stuff in it that your body just goes, ugh, what's this? Stores it as fat. So we're going to walk a little bit more on up ahead. I'll cross the road. We're at the halfway point right now for 5 miles, 2.5. And I definitely want to make sure I get more than 5. So I'll go ahead a little bit more. And then we'll turn the ship around, as it were. So I have been on a guitar building binge lately. I think I've run out of enough parts to make complete guitars now. I have made three complete guitars just from parts I had. A couple of them are a lot of work. I have one guitar neck that I could put on another body, but it's a defective neck. It's made in China. Nice looking neck, but it was made in China and they have the fret spacing wrong. Can't intonate it. It's impossible with the scale length. Where the frets are sitting, there's just no way. There's no way that's ever going to intonate. I put my fret gauge on there, which measures all the frets on the fretboard, and there's no scale length that it fits. It's almost like they just eyeballed it. Somebody just drew out a fretboard and they made necks. That's probably what they did. So anyway, I don't think I paid more than $25 for that neck. 10 years ago, 15 years ago, whatever it was. Never got around to using it. So I'm going to turn the camera around now. We're going to be crossing the street here shortly. Crossing the road. As soon as we get a break in traffic. We just did. So we'll cut across. Now we'll head back. And I'll make my exercise for today. This is that pawn shop. Firearms. You see that on the sign? You sell antiques and firearms. You can get an old metallic wash basin in there. They have crazy price tags on those, like 50 bucks, $60. It's a metal wash tub. It's not worth that much. A little plot of land here for sale. That's the other thing that's going on with Maine, is Maine is getting older every year. Young people are moving away. I actually have some relatives half my age, they've moved away. I have relatives that moved to Tennessee and North Carolina. So a lot of people are leaving Maine. So I don't know if Democrats are going to understand that they're causing it. Cost of living, taxes, And right now they're still governing like they have a 40-seat majority, and they don't. So it's like, you know, they have an agenda and a program, and they're going to keep pushing it, and they're going to keep trying to pass their stuff until it either passes or they turn over power to Republicans, which is what I think is happening now. We're going to end up with a Republican majority here probably after the next election. I think the tide has turned in the country. And just to give you an idea, trans women playing in women's sports is not popular even in Maine, but it's still more popular here than it is in other places in the country. And it's like that with everything that is leftist. So it takes longer for them to lose, which may actually be a benefit because, you know, they're arrogant. They're very arrogant people. Virtue signaling. They know what's best. That sort of thing. And they don't give up on their bullshit. That is ridiculous. So an issue that is 80-20 for the rest of the country is 67% here. Still not in the Democrat favor, but not as much so as other places. If that makes sense. So we have a bigger hill to climb, but we're climbing it. I'm pretty confident that the congressional seat for Washington, D.C., that has been Democrat for 3 elections now, 6 years, if you're counting 2-year elections for Congress, it's going to be turning red. This district is red. It's always been red for the most part. Most of the district is rural. And it's kind of a strange district because Angus King ran as an independent. He's not really in this district, but the way it was gerrymandered by the Democrats, they want to get the second largest city in the state to vote for Angus King. So, because we also have Susan Collins. So I want to know why a state that has 2 senators, that I am able to vote for both of them or not. Isn't that strange? That might happen elsewhere too, but to me, there's only 2 senators from every state, and it's like they're making sure that the most populated area in the state votes for Angus King or any substitute they put in there that is liberal. Just my personal opinion, I don't think that's fair, because I can vote for Susan Collins and Angus King. I did not vote for Angus King. I did a write-in. We use ranked choice voting here, but that didn't work out so well. So Angus King won very easily. The only thing I'll ever give him credit for is he really does care about the military. Other than that, he's just another piece of crap left loon. Calls himself an independent. And he's grooming his Senate seat for his son on top of that. Nepotism. Same kind of stuff they criticize other people that do that. Try to figure that out. Do as I say, not as I do, Democrats. You know, this whole thing right now with Jake Tapper's book, all of a sudden, you know, people are coming out of the woodwork. You know, I want somebody to pay for what was done. We cannot have a president of the United States being covered up for in his health. We cannot have people lying to the public like they did. And, you know, we just can't have that. Thankfully, President Trump's been very transparent with his medical stuff. He has. Which is why the media hasn't tried to flip the tables on that, because they know better. Because there simply is nothing there to flip. So, anyway. I saw something funny yesterday and I really had to laugh because, and you'll only think this is funny if you live here, but there's a channel on YouTube. It's just a retired couple. They live in Ontario, Canada, and they hopped in their RV and they're touring the United States. And they came down through Canada into Maine here, which is, you know, typical. We are a border state with Canada. So they came down and drove a while in downtown Lewiston, Maine. Downtown, okay, the worst part of town. And their YouTube channel just cracked me up because the entire video for Lewiston, Maine was completely ridiculously overhyped, trying to make it exciting. Like Lewiston, Maine's one of the greatest places to ever see. And they're driving through our slums, okay? Our poor slum area with drugs and crime, and it just cracked me up. They were talking about how great it was and how beautiful the city is. And I'm like, beautiful, lush green parks. And it is Kennedy Park, there's homeless encampments in their video. And it's like, are these people on drugs? Absolutely bizarre behavior. And the video is only like from 2-3 years ago. 2 or 3. So it's really absolutely bizarre behavior. That part of town is what you proverbially call a shithole, metaphorically, I should say. I used to live in that neighborhood when I was a kid. And when I was a kid in the 70s, it was a different time. Different animal. You had a couple people who were alcoholics. You didn't have homeless people. You didn't have drugs, or at least drugs as big of a problem as it is now. You know, people always liked their pot. Then in the 1980s, you started to see cocaine. But now it's everything that's really bad. Crystal meth, heroin, fentanyl, uppers, downers, all kinds of different drugs. People walk around like zombies. Really horrible. And that follows Democrats everywhere they go. So anyway, the video just cracked me up because they really were hyping it up. Like they were serious. It was almost to the point like, are they making a joke and laughing at us? I thought that might be the case, but nope. There's some old retired couple from Ontario. Probably come from a very rural area. I've never seen anything, I guess. Very strange. But anyway, thanks for coming here and being kind, regardless. I'm warming up pretty good now. I am not used to the temperatures we're going to have today. You can go ahead and laugh at me. Some of you people watch this have 85, 90 degrees now. And we don't. So a lot of times we don't even get that in the summertime. But we do get some of the humidity from down south. High dew points where the kitchen drawers swell up and they're difficult to open and close. Doors will swell up. So you run some AC for a while. I don't have any plans to put any AC in the window for another 6 weeks or so. And I'm sure you guys down south think that's pretty funny, unless we have an unusually warm beginning to summer, which I'm not anticipating. But that could happen. I do remember some July 4th weekends of 95, 98 degrees, high humidity. And then I remember other ones where not so much. Nice looking summery piece of land. Smells summery. It's got that nice green summer smell. You know, another thing too, the reason why I thought of it is, look at that place across the street here. It says Denny's TV Repair Service Center. Somebody running that out of their house. It's been there for years. I don't know if he still does that. The sign looks all dilapidated. But it's pretty easy to fix modern television sets. They're all made where you have circuit boards inside with computer chips on them and processors. You have one wafer processor board that is for your power supply. Just hit 3.5 miles. That's why I paused. Got the app going off in my ear. But so you have the power module, you have the main computer module, and you have the audio and video module. And if you look inside a TV set, that's pretty much all there is in it, besides your LCD screen, liquid crystal display, or LED screen. So watching this old guy in this car. He looks very unsure of himself. Sometimes you can just tell how people drive or how they look. They just give off this vibe. Anyway, a lot of those TVs are not very difficult to fix. A lot of the parts range from $20 to $60 online, aftermarket. And a lot of them will fit different model TVs. But the plus side is the price for a new TV now is so freaking cheap. I don't know if that's going to go up because of tariffs or not, but you know, they were about $300 for 50 to 60 inch TV. I mean, that's crazy. crazy cheap. So you may want to just get a new TV instead of fixing it, spending $100 to fix it. You know, that's up to you, because basically all of them, after a while, they stop updating the firmware for them, because they want you to get a new model that has the new apps on them, video apps. It's like I got a TV that's not working. It's leaning up. I debated on whether or not I was going to fix it, and I think I've changed my mind. I'm not going to. So that needs to go to the dump, and replaced it with a TV that has all the apps. And after a while, they stop upgrading the firmware, so your YouTube app no longer works and things like that. So they force you to get a new TV anyway. It's called planned obsolescence. They make your TV obsolete, whether you want it to or not, whether it works good or not. So it really doesn't matter if your TV lasts longer than 10 years. You won't be able to use your smart TV features. You'll be able to use it to play DVDs and things like that. But no, it's just one of those things. When I was a kid, we had this TV set. First color TV set we had, I remember that. It was in the 70s, I was a little kid. So we always had a black and white TV with rabbit ears with tin foil on them, you know what I mean? Or hooked up to a wire to an antenna on the roof. And so I'm old enough to remember that stuff. And I remember my dad won a raffle for a color TV. So it was an RCA, if I remember right. Or was it? Yes, it was. I remember the 3 colors. So, you know, I remember the first time I watched stuff like Batman in color. I thought that was the coolest thing ever. Then when they came out with videotapes in their late 70s, early 80s, where you could rent them, I was like, oh my God, what a treat. 14 years old, can bring my favorite movies home and watch them over and over and over again if I want to. So that was really cool too. I really enjoyed that. Also, I have one night I remember in particular where I had a black and white portable TV that had an antenna on it. And for some reason it was tuning in HBO. We didn't have cable because we were too poor. So I remember this night, it was very late at night, and for some reason I could tune in HBO on an old black and white TV with an antenna. I had no idea HBO could be brought on the airwaves back then. This was probably 1983, 82-ish. I can tell you that the movie I watched was Escape from New York in black and white. It was a little snowy. I had to adjust it once in a while to get a good picture. But that was part of the fun. And I remember that night. I really enjoyed that. It's one of those nights I remember from my childhood. Another memory I have is when we first moved from part of my childhood to just before I became a teenager. I think I was about 12, 13, 12, I'm guessing. And I was laying on the floor playing with my Hot Wheels in the new apartment we were moving into. And I remember that. I like memories like that. My grandmother used to have a box of toys for us to play with. They had things like metal toy cars, all old vintage vintage metal toy cars, cast iron, whatever you want to call them, from the 1930s, 20s. They'd probably be worth a fortune now, but I used to play with those in the early 70s. So I like stuff like that. It's nice to think about that stuff. So now we're walking. We'll be coming up on 4 miles shortly. Hope you're enjoying the walk today. So, oh, look at this. Well, we got a dead raccoon. Rocky didn't make it. Say a prayer for Rocky. So we got a dead raccoon. I hate seeing dead animals. If you watch this walk, you know that. It bugs me. So anyway, I guess it's nostalgia day for some reason. We just hit 4 miles in my ear. Hour and 10 minutes. 1 hour and 10 minutes. So anyway, I think at this point, something I did not want to see happen before, now with Ukraine. I think at this point now, since Putin is obviously jerking everybody's chain, he feels like he's going to win all of Ukraine. And unfortunately, we're going to have to try to prevent that without getting militarily involved. So I think we ought to walk away from peace talks if Putin doesn't change course here very quickly. Give Zelensky the green light to start bombing stuff in Russia. And I don't say that lightly, okay? But right now, you have Putin launching drone attacks on civilian targets in Ukraine and Kyiv, and we cannot allow that, okay? We just can't. And Putin doesn't seem like he's going to stop. And we're going to have to lay down the law and damn the consequences for doing so, which I hope aren't the worst. But at this point, what are you going to do? Putin's clearly got his eye on conquering all of Ukraine. So, you know, you got all these people saying the parallels between Putin and Hitler. Hitler invaded Poland. Everybody thought he would stop there. But this is not the same. It's not the same parallel. Russia does not have the military to do any of that. And he won't. The United States would not allow him to. And all hell would break loose at that point. But I think what's going to happen is Putin's just going to end up having the Senate and Congress here put the most restrictive, comprehensive sanctions package on Russia that any country has ever seen. At this point, I think that's the only thing that's going to do anything. And unfortunately, that takes a while to take effect once you do it. I think sanctions will be so tight on Russia that Russians won't even be able to watch sunsets anymore. It's a little humor, but probably sunshine and bad weather is about the only thing they're going to get. And, you know, Russia is still selling a lot of oil and gas to a lot of countries, and we have the ability to cut that off, along with Europe, which unfortunately would cause a fuel price increase for everybody else. So there are downsides to that. But unfortunately, I think we're getting to that point where that's the only thing that's going to have any effect on anything. So it's not good. There's nothing good about this. But, you know, Russia cannot take over all of Ukraine. It just cannot happen. And I understand that at that point, if that's his goal, then this is the most unfortunate thing for the entire world. But that's where we are. And we're going to have to deal with it. So, here's my Dalmatian dog fire hydrant I like. Thought that was pretty clever. So it's probably about 65, 70 degrees right now. Sure feels like it, upper 60s anyway. And I can feel the heat coming off the road here. And I know, down south you guys are laughing. I can hear you snickering. It's probably hotter than this when you first wake up in the morning and the sun's just coming up. I get it. I get it. So we're going to cut across here. We'll walk over here. Crossed over here because I actually have room to walk on this side without getting killed. Hope you're enjoying your day. This was a fun walk. I'm going to be winding it down shortly. And I like the fact that my body is all in tune with walking right now. I'll buy a wheelbarrow. Selling wheelbarrows. We have one with a flat tire I gotta fix. It's not flat from a puncture, it just lost its air because it was sitting for a while. So I'll record for about another mile, and then I'll sign off with you guys. So anyway, I'm really happy. My body stamina is really good right now, considering I didn't sleep much last night and I got a busy day today. But so goes life. We shall adapt and overcome and all that goodness. cut across here. Go up here. Just hit the 4.5 mile mark. Got a lot of these small businesses that look like they're small businesses out of somebody's house. Here, East Coast sign design. Looks like a regular house, and they got something in the back there with a door. And across the street, swimming pools, grave monuments, some grave markers. Stick this out here a little bit. Pulling this out too far. There we go. Sorry about the crazy ride. Probably be about the time the battery conks out too. I'll have to switch that in a minute. We're almost where we're going as far as the recording goes, so it may last. We'll see. Looks like it's about 12% ish. Anyway, if you need to buy some grave markers, sell them across the street. Save some money and buy one of the blank ones. A little humor there. You can lie in state anonymously. So anyway, my friends, I'm going to end the walk. Click like and subscribe, share the content, and say a prayer for President Trump and America, and whatever else you need to pray for. I'll do the same. And click like and subscribe, all that stuff. Thanks for walking with me today, walking with J.Beau, and we will see you guys soon. So be good to one another. Talk to you soon, friends. Bye-bye now. Thanks for walking with me. See ya.